Hello class, this is Mike Elmes and I am creating videos to answer problems from the Test 2 Math 145 review. I'm going to start on question number 20A and work my way through the packet. So for 28 it says evaluate the logarithms without using a calculator. The word evaluate means really give me the answer, right? What is going to be the value that goes in here? All right, so the way I teach my students to do this is I don't know what this equals, so I'll say this equals x, right? And we can rewrite logarithms using properties of logs, right? So I can rewrite this as 4 to the x equals 64. And this is when you say to yourself, what value of x will give me 64? So if you think about it, 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 4 is 64. So the value that makes this true would be 3. Right, because 4 times 4 times 4 is equal to 64. So the answer for question 20A would be 3. Now, let's say you get into a jam and you panic. You could always use the change of base formula, right? You could always write log 64 over log 4 and get an answer as well. All right, let's do letter B. I'm going to clean this up, and we will do 20B. All right, so same thing. I don't know what value this is, so I'll say it equals x, and I can rewrite this as 8 raised to the x equals 1 over 8. Okay, so think about, I know 8 to the 1 is equal to 8. Whoops, let's fix that. 8 to the 1 is equal to 8, so 8 to the negative 1 is 1 over 8. Okay, so the answer for letter B would be negative 1. Okay, let's take a look at letter C. Let me just clean this up. Letter C, we have log base 5 of 625. So again, I don't know what this equals, so I can rewrite this as 5 raised to the x is equal to 625. And the value of x that makes this true, right? 5 times 5 is 25, times 5 is 125, times 5 again is 625. So 5 to the 4, oops, let's clean that up. 5 to the 4 equals 625. So the answer here would be 4. Okay, and remember letter B was, the answer was negative 1. And now we'll work on the other side. Log base 3 of 1 over 9. Well, I don't know what that is, so I'll say it's 3 raised to the x equals 1 over 9. So the answer that makes this true would be x equals negative 2. Right? Because we know that 3 to the 2 is 9, so 3 to the negative 2 would be 1 over 9. Okay, so your answer for letter D would be negative 2. All right, that's my answer for D. All right, now letter E, honestly, I would just use my calculator here, right? Log, oh, actually, I'm sorry, you can't. It says without using a calculator. Because I was going to say on my calculator, I would just enter log 0.001 and then press enter, and you see we get negative 3, right? So, but it did say without using a calculator, so I'm going to rewrite this a little bit, just try to clean this up a little bit, give us some more room. Okay, so 20E, I will write this as x. And remember, if they don't write anything under log, it's in base 10. So think of this as 10 to the x equals 0.001. But I'm going to write this intentionally as 1 over 1,000, right? Tens, hundredths, thousands, right? So we know that 10 to the 3 is 1,000. So 10 to the negative 3 is 1 over 1,000, right? So the value that makes letter E true would be negative 3. Okay, and then the last one, natural log. All right, so anytime you see usually ln, you're dealing with the e, right? Just clean that up. So letter F. All right, if there's nothing written underneath the ln, it's assumed it's an e, base e. So we can rewrite this as e to the x equals e. So what value of x would give me e, right? E to the 1 equals e. So the answer would just be 1. Okay? So that's number 20. Number 21, the first two are pretty easy, right? It says use your calculator. So for 21, for example, and you can imagine I'm not going to ask many of these on my test, right? Because there's just not much to do here. Log 73, I would just press log, press 73, press enter. That's your answer. And then just round this to 4 decimal places, right? Letter B, press the ln key, the natural log, 80, press enter, and that would be your answer for 21B, right? But you'd round to 4 decimal places, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'd stop at this 0. All right, so that's 21A and 21B. 21C and D, my calculator's not in base 2, so I can't just press log 125. See, number 21, my calculator's in base 10, so I don't have to do anything. My natural log, it's in base E. But when you look at letters C and D, my calculator's not in base 2 or base 3, so I have to do some work here. Okay, so let's just clean this up. So for letters C and D, I would just perform this calculation. Log 125 over log 2, right? That's the base, change of base formula. And letter D would be the same thing, right? Log 470 over log 3. All right, so I'll enter both of those into my calculator. All right, so here I go with the first one, log 125. Again, this is the change of base formula divided by log 2. I press enter, and my answer is 6.9658. And then for letter D, we're going to enter log 470 over log 3. Right, log 470 divided by log base 10 of 3. And my answer for that one is 5.6005, right? So those are your answers for letters C and D, 6.9658 and 5.6005. Okay. Let's see, I think we have time. We can still squeeze in 22. 22 says convert to logarithmic form to solve the exponential equation, right? So I would rewrite this as log base 10, and you don't have to write the 10. It's understood that if nothing's written there, it's a 10. So I can just leave it like this. Oops. So it's log base 10 of 20 equals x. So for something like this, right, we would just type in log 20 in my calculator, press enter, and you see my answer is 1.3010, right? That would be my answer for number 22. Number 22B, I would write log, and you don't have to put the parentheses there, but your calculator does. Let's see, log base 10 of 0.2 equals x. And again, I would just put in my calculator log 0.2, and here's my answer. Right, we get negative 0.69897. And then for number 22C, we're just going to type in log 0.0073. I'll enter that into our calculator. I press enter, and I get negative 2.1367. Okay. Now, let's look at the other side. All right, it looks like we're in base e, right? E to the x equals 20. So if I were to rewrite this, I'm going to use ln. Anytime I see an e, I like to use ln, or the natural log. So I would write, just clean this up. For the next three problems, I'll kind of do them all at once. I would write ln 20 equals x, right? Right, remember, there's a little e here, right? Think of this as e to the x equals 20, right? E to the x equals 20. Right, so that's what we have to put into our calculator. And again, you don't need to write this e. It's understood that there's an e there. And then for e and f, I would write ln 487, this is a big number, 2122, that equals x. And then the one on the bottom would be ln 0.0073 equals x. And again, I have to enter this into my calculator to get the answer. Okay, so let's do that. So when I enter all of this into my calculator, you can see these are my three answers for D, E, and F. Right, natural log 20, natural log 4,872,122, natural log of 0.0073, right? And then these are the answers that correspond. So I took the liberty of writing them out here for you, okay? So that is question 22. So I think I can do one more video to finish question 23 and 24. Thank you for watching.